Thank you, Senator McGuire. Thank you to all the elected officials. Thank you to all the leaders assembled, those that were mentioned, those that are here, those in abstention, like Assemblymember Zubair, who are critical to advancing these 10 critical bills. Let me just pick up a little bit without repeating too much of what has been said as it relates to this package of bills. I'll be signing 10 bills today on retail theft, property theft, and auto theft. These bills will strengthen existing laws, they'll enhance other laws, and they will address the challenges that are well outside the purview of previous initiatives and laws like Prop 47, and that's the issue of organized retail theft, the issue of serial theft, the issue that is front and center in the consciousness of so many Californians. You see it online, social media, you see it on the nightly news. This goes to the heart of the issue, and it does it in a thoughtful and judicious way. And it does so in the spirit that defines the remarks, in partnership. We're blessed to be here with Sheriff Johnson. We're blessed to be here with DA Rosen. We're blessed to be here with Rachel and Ron representing the retailers and the grocers. We simply could not have been here without their support and their stewardship. This is the real deal. Grocers and the retailers understand that. No one more instrumental, by the way, than Rachel and the retailers. They sat down, as she said, I just want to pick up on what she said and validate it. She said, this is what we need. This is what we're experiencing every day. Ron, the same thing with the grocers. And the legislature worked diligently across the aisle in a bipartisan manner to advance these bills. And this, as the pro tem and speaker said, is the beginning of a process. It's not the end of a process. We're still working on a number of other bills. We still have more work to do more broadly in this space, but this is a demonstrable advancement of that collective effort. And I just want to reinforce, and we'll get to Q&A, and I'll sign these bills first. We didn't just wake up to this issue. As the Attorney General noted, who was with us on multiple occasions, announcing new initiatives and new strategies. Back in 2020, in 2021, we have been hard at work to address these issues. It was just noted the $1.1 billion of additional new resources targeted in this space, $267 million just last year. You can ask the district attorney. $2,050,000 that specifically went into his work. The sheriff, $11.7 million that was directed specifically to advance Sheriff Johnson's work. Across this state, we've been working on prosecution, vertical prosecution investigations. We've been working on advancing and enhancing technology to address the issue of retail theft. The captain began this press conference on the work that the CHP continues to do, not just in terms of the state task forces that were advanced and enhanced over the last number of years, but working with local regional task forces. 884 arrests so far just this year. The captain referenced 2,900 arrests since 2019 in the initiation of their enhanced efforts on retail theft. 850,000 items recovered, the tens of millions of dollars that he referenced, enhanced and advanced those efforts over the course of the last few years. I appreciate, and we're humbled by Rachel's comments, that California has been providing, interestingly, despite what I read and hear often, a national model in this space in terms of actually trying to address these issues that are universal all across the United States of America. You wouldn't know that based upon some commentary. You'd think they were unique here. What is, though, unique here, I think, is the approach we're taking to get serious about these issues. And so I want to end by thanking the last two speakers in particular. The speaker himself and the pro tem. They created the conditions, they created the energy, and they created a pathway because of their resolve and commitment to get this done. As they suggested, you read between the lines. If you didn't, you should have. This is tough stuff, some of this. You know, the issues of aggregation, issues of cross-jurisdictional issues, the issues of probable cause, the issues that often are delayed, sometimes denied. None of them were in this case in terms of the package. That's why there are 10 bills in this space and more work continue to be done. So, Mr. Speaker, thank you. The Pro Tem, thank you to AG Bonta and the new organized investigative unit that he put together at the Department of Justice a few years ago. Thank you to all of our incredible partners. Thank you to the legislative leaders. Gratitude and appreciation for getting this done. With that, these are the actual bills. So I want to get to them, and then we're happy to open it up and answer any questions. Thank you all. It may take a minute. There's 10 of these. I'm going to randomly hand these out. Can we do a fake photo? Or a real?
What do you say?
The real work. Thank you very much. Hope you like that one. Ron, you want these things. I'm going to give this speaker for a 10 at the end. Scott, you oh, Berman, yeah, he's upset. And by the way, these are the bills you got to Speaker. There you
One more. 1, 2, 3. Hold up the bills. 1, 2, 3. Ahí en el medio.
You may have some questions. Again, I just want to thank everybody for their hard work. As I say often, program passing is not problem solving. Signing a bill doesn't solve the problem. It's the hard work that comes over the course of the next weeks and months to deliver on what we're promoting and promising. And we're very mindful of that. And I should just note, just building on what was said, we continue in this endeavor, but we continue with unprecedented resources. We've never had the resources in this space to actually deliver on what we just advanced today. And I want to just, again, if I didn't say it, begin with captains here, but the CHP has just been magical in this space and has done a remarkable job. And I want to thank the legislature for supporting 1,000 new CHP officers. We've been enhancing the ranks of law enforcement in this state. We've been increasing funding for law enforcement in this state. And the CHP has been the tip of the spear in so many of these efforts. With that, happy to answer questions.
Good morning, Governor. Good to see you. Annabelle Sosa with the LA Times. So this morning, the LA Times and UC Berkeley came out with a poll that said that found that a majority of likely California voters will support Proposition 36. So I want to ask about that ballot measure. In light of being in San Jose, the mayor of the city this week announced his support for Prop 36. And he said that Prop 36, he was focusing on the idea of mass treatment as opposed to mass incarceration. And so I want to talk about that. He said Prop 36 and Prop 1, in fact, perfectly align with each other, and that some people who are sentenced to the mandated treatment under Prop 36 would be housed in some Prop 1 funded facilities. So my question for you is, what do you have to say about the fact that Prop 36, if passed, could potentially work in tandem with Prop 1? Is that something that you can acknowledge or comment on?
Well, I can't acknowledge something that is misleading at best, factually wrong, as the author of Prop 1. As someone intimately familiar with Proposition 36, Prop 36 takes us back to the 1980s, the war on drugs, mass incarceration. It promotes a promise that can't be delivered. I would ask those that support it, particularly mayors, where are the treatment slots? Where are the beds? There are 22 counties. 22 counties in the state of California. This is not a local initiative, Prop 36. It's a statewide initiative. 22 counties don't have one residential treatment facility. 22 counties don't have one. I mean, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. That initiative has nothing to do with retail theft. This has everything to do with retail theft. That initiative is about going back to the 1980s and the war on drugs. It's about mass incarceration. And don't take my word for it. Look at the independent legislative analysts who said it will cost billions and billions of dollars. Not $1 is attached to Prop 36, not one. Any of you that are fiscally conservative, you should be screaming from the rafters. Not a dollar associated with the initiative. Can you imagine what's going to happen in the courts? Not $1 to support the courts. You got backlogs already. Compare that to the work all these folks did behind me on Care Court, a multi-year collaborative process, working with the Judicial Council, working with our partners, a pilot phase-in before it went to full implementation. $81 million was set aside in the general fund specifically to support the courts, and a process and protocol that actually can deliver on the promise. Compare that to the ready, fire aim of Prop 36 that cannot be changed without going back to the voters. I hope folks take the time to really reflect on it. I want to move this state forward. I don't want to move us backwards. So I respectfully, completely reject that premise as factually inaccurate and misleading in a charitable sense at best.
Thank you.
All righty, Mr. Governor, good morning. It's Eitan Wallace with Nexstar Media across the state of California. So you mentioned, and I was trying to write it all down here, just since 2019, there's been 2,900 arrests, you said, 850,000 items recovered. I know you mentioned other stats. I'm sorry, I need to still go look back.
Forgive me, 884, we can go through all that. I'll give you a fact.
Well, let me ask you, going forward in the sense of these 10 retail theft bills today, quantitatively or whatever it might be, what to you will be a success 6 months down the line, 2 years, 5 years down the line, and what will not? Also, want to keep it on retail theft. I know 72 hours from now, everybody's going to be also talking about DNC. What is your role going to be there? What are you looking forward to? What are you not looking forward to?
I appreciate it. Well done sneaking that in. Look, success is smashing these retail theft rings. Success is breaking them apart. Success is holding our third parties accountable. I appreciate what Senator Skinner said. It's really important what she said as it relates to what's happened. People are going out there with a menu telling people what to steal so that they can sell on third-party platforms, but those third-party platforms have no accountability, no responsibility. Do they ever question how something, a brand new product, can be sold for half the price on their platforms? There has to be some accountability. Because of the legislation I just signed, there will be accountability. The opportunity, again, to aggregate. This has been a big issue, the notion of aggregation. You have a crime that's done in one jurisdiction, another jurisdiction, a crime that wasn't witnessed by law enforcement, so it's hard to prove, the DAs are handcuffed. All of that gets eliminated in the context of addressing the serial nature of crimes. What's happening with car break-ins, and Senator Wiener's outstanding legislation in that space. So look, I don't want to over-promise short-term. I mean, we just signed these bills. It takes time. These things have moved forward and go in effect. Meanwhile, unprecedented investments and investigations are ongoing. We're flooding the zone with the work we're doing in the task forces and the support we provided local law enforcement all across the state of California. But we want to see this significantly reduced, and we want to hold people accountable, period, full stop. As it relates to the DNC, I'll be there I guess I could get in Monday night, and we'll be there for the week, and you'll be sick of me by Thursday.
Governor Travis Gilmore with the Epoch Times. Law enforcement tells us there's a direct correlation between drug addiction and retail theft. Do these bills address this root issue? And also, what happened to the urgency clause that was initially crafted into these bills a little bit in the midway point.
No, I appreciate the latter part of the question. I'll ask the expert. We can get the experts behind me as it relates to legislative sausage making. Look, one of the principal concerns I have about Prop 36, forgive me for going back, but it's related to your question, it's a way of pivoting, is Prop 36 actually takes money from one of the most effective components of Prop 47, which is the $100 or so million a year, 95 last year to be exact, that goes to drug treatment and goes to victims services, goes to address some of those underlying issues as you reflect that cause and effect associated with retail theft. It actually redirects those dollars. It takes it away, which is remarkable in and of itself that hasn't been highlighted more. We signed 10 bills, but this legislature has done unprecedented work to address underlying issues as it relates to poverty and ignorance and disease. We don't have enough time to regale all of the substantive work that's first in the nation to substantively address those issues. And meaningfully, we've done that as it relates to the work we've done in the homelessness and housing space in the last few years to address the poverty component and the addiction and mental health components of those cause and effect concerns as you relate to. But a lot more work needs to be done. I'm not suggesting otherwise, and a lot more work will be done, and there are subsequent bills that I look forward to landing on my desk and look forward to signing.
Governor.
Thank you.
Hey, Guy Marzorati with KQED. Governor, given everything that's on the ballot this November, to what extent is campaigning against Prop 36 a priority for you? And what do you think your role is going to be in that November?
I don't know. There are a lot of things that I don't like on the ballot. There are a lot of things I like on the federal ballot, Kamala Harris being one of them. We've got it's what's the capacity to do. Honestly, those that support Prop 36, they'll be accountable for it. I wouldn't want to be on their side of this. You watch this. Watch what happens in the next couple of years. It's such a devastating setback in this state. The impact on poor folks, impact on black and brown communities, it's next level. And it doesn't address what they're saying. I've seen this movie over and over and over again. It's exactly who we're not as a state. And the fact that there's some Democrats, you referenced one, a couple others that are supporting it, I don't know that they've really given it a lot of thought. And I don't mean that as a cheap shot. I mean this sincerely. And I know they'll push back against that, and now you maybe run off with that news story as opposed to the substance of all this. But it really distresses me a little bit. So it goes to your question, what's my involvement? I guess it's this, and I'll be honest, I'm counting on all of you. I mean this sincerely. It's interesting, no one yet has asked about the threshold, Prop 47 threshold. I mean, you had some guy, this ex-president yesterday talking about it. It's the 10th toughest in America. I don't see that represented in most of the news. 10th toughest in America. It's interesting, Prop 36 doesn't even include that. If that was the issue, that's what we all wrote about and talked about for 2 years. You'd think that was the entire initiative. They don't even include it because they know it's not the case. So there's a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and honestly, more than me going out there, I count on you to take an objective look at this. It's serious. Billions and billions of dollars will come from the state. Billions. Where is that? That's cuts in other programs. And you sit here and you'll be reporting something 3 years, there's shortfalls and this and that. You ever wonder why? These things, they're direct cause and effect. So I mean this. I know it's not a process story. I know it's not necessarily a personality story. But boy, it's a story that's well known in this state. We went through this in the 80s. We went through this in the 90s, mass incarceration. And crime was higher, not lower. Things got worse, not better. And I don't want to go back to those days, and that's what that initiative will do.
Hi, Governor. Thanks for taking our questions. I'm Dustin Gardner with Politico. I want to ask you about your conversations with retailers. We're in Home Depot today. Home Depot itself has given more than $1 million
Hello,
to
retailers.
Proposition 36.
Yes. They're here. You may want to ask them, Dustin. Let's come on up, retailers.
But I want to ask you, though.
Well, we can ask.
Have you gotten any commitments they're going to back off their support for the initiative?
This was
or
not.
what?
I didn't get it. The answer to your question, I didn't get any conversations directly with them on the initiative. Period.
Okay. Yeah. What about Rachel, who's right there behind you?
Yeah, that's why I suggested she.
What's the question again?
Yeah, I mean, so your organization has given millions of dollars to
No,
support
we've not. CRA
Proposition
has not.
36.
CRA has not as an organization. Individual members have.
Yeah, I mean, do you anticipate the members are going to back off now, the message that you're sending on this?
You know, I can't speak for individual member companies. That's their own decision. But I will say that we are the members I've heard from, and I've heard from a number of them, are very enthusiastic about this package. And as I mentioned, we went to the members. I went to asset protection professionals for the last 3 to 4 years. I have a notebook that I went through and literally went through all of the things they have told me, and that was what was in this package. So I think that in the next few weeks, we're going to continue to have conversations. You know, we have a couple of little things we got to work out in the next 2 weeks of session, and then I think we're going to see where we're going to land. But I think as an association, and I can speak broadly as an association, across the board, this is the most comprehensive package of bills that we have ever seen, and it addresses multiple issues that we have had concerns about. And I think the comprehensiveness, I mean, when you look at other proposals out there, they only touch on 1 or 2 things. You know, 1 or 2 things is not going to solve the problem. You know, this comprehensive set of bills really addresses and ticks off so many different aspects of things that we've been looking at and seeing happening in our stores, because we have a diverse set of members. You know, not all of our members sell the same products, have the same footprint, are like this. Some of them are not big box, some of them are small, some of them are groceries, some of them are online. So this package addresses all of that. So we'll stay tuned and we'll see what happens.
Thank you. One more question for the governor with respect to the mayors, if I could. Yeah, we're in San Jose. Mayor Mahan is obviously not here today. He's supporting Proposition 36. Just up the peninsula, Mayor London Breed is also supporting Proposition 36. What would you say to the members of your own party who are putting themselves very much out there and saying that what you've done today isn't enough to deal with repeat
Well,
offenders?
there's an exception. It's not members of my party. It's a couple of exceptions, and I said what I said. I mean, you can just go back to what I just said. I don't need to belabor it. I've worked with both these mayors on a multitude of issues. This is not the Democratic Party. It's just a couple members, a couple mayors. That's it. And that is it. My gosh. Well, that's a hell of a thing. Final words. Home Depot, thank you. Thank you for all your support, and thank you for allowing us here today. Thank you, everybody, for being here.